What's up, boys and girls? Cowwy here, and welcome back to the Carrot Club. In today's video, we're going to be building more holiday stuff because we're getting closer to Christmas and into 2021. What we're building is this gigantic snow globe with tiny little house and Christmas tree inside. You can walk in and out of the globe. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you can use this idea to build a lot of different things later. So let's get right into it. The materials that we're going to be using are all listed here. You may need more or less depending on what you want inside of that snow globe. Most of the stuff is fairly easy to get because you can just buy them. For the color clays, if you don't have them, you can always replace it with something similar. So the first thing, as always, we need to make some space, at least 23 by 23 blocks. Once you have the space, place the block on the ground like this, and this will be the center of the circle you'll be building. Then count 8 blocks from the center and place another block on the ground. Do this for all 4 directions. This marks the edge of the circle so you'll know if you have built this correctly. To fill in the base, we'll start from one of the blocks on the edge. I have also included the blueprint image here so you'll know what to build and how to build it. So I'm just going to start building from the edge using pine stairs and work my way around until I get a full circle. The second part is to make a smaller circle on top, so the base of the snow globe will look like it has a stand the ball will sit on. I placed a gold block on where I will be starting so you can follow along, then you can work your way around it. The last part for the base is to put grass on the second layer. You can use whatever materials you like for the ground depending on what you want inside the globe. I just use grass because I'm lazy, or I could use white clay for snow and just fill the entire second layer with it. Before we call it a finish, there is a tiny little spot on the edge here that don't look quite right. Remove this block and replace it with a pine plank, and do that for all 4 corners. So now the base of the snow globe is finished. The next step is to create the glass ball, and it's going to be huge. I have placed 2 gold blocks on the ground where I will start building. That is basically the middle of the globe. I'm also going to be using bamboo temporarily instead of glass because glass is very hard to see. When you are building this, use whatever methods you feel comfortable with. If you want to build it with glass, go right ahead. So now if we look at it from far away, we can see the globe shape appearing. The next step is to repeat what you just did, except on the other side of the globe, which I have marked as gold again. Now you have 2 sets of outline, and it shows how big this dome really is. The last outline we need is one that will cut across the middle of the globe. What I mean by that is an outline horizontally. If you climb up on one of the outlines, you can see where I've started building based on the gold blocks I have placed. Then you simply follow this pattern here to connect all of the outlines together. So it should look something like this. Then you continue building it until you have a full circle. Okay, we're getting into the hardest part of the build, which is filling out the details for the sphere. But before we jumping into it, we're going to take care of one small problem first, which is the base here. You're going to build this small circle on the base because this circle is a little different than the rest, and it gets confusing if you don't build this now. I use gold to show the difference where I built so you don't get confused. Now we can finally fill in the details to make a full sphere. I'm going to fly to the very top. I will be using gold temporarily so you can see the changes clearly. Now listen very carefully. You have to build this first layer 5 times, 1 on each side of the sphere. So the first side is the one that I'm standing on. The other 4 sides is right on the middle of the sphere. If you got this correctly, your first layer of the sphere should appear in 5 different places like this. Now I'm going to switch all the gold back to bamboo. The second layer follows the same routine as the first layer. We're going to start in the next block down, and you simply follow this pattern here on all 5 sides of the sphere. A tip for building this easier is I always start building from the edge first. It makes the pattern easier to look at and you are less likely to get confused. So if I do all the edges first, I can see the second layer forming and I can simply fill in the gaps in between easier. By the time you get to this point, if you don't have something similar to mine, that means you have messed up somewhere. What you need to do now is remove the whole layer and do it again. Yes, it sucks, but look on the bright side. I have to build this 3 times before recording this, and that's a lot of messed up. So we're getting closer to finishing the sphere. The third layer follows the same routine again. Do this on all 5 sides. The fourth layer is a bit different because each layer you build brings each side of the sphere closer to each other. The first 3 layers only has 5 sides because the 6th side is inside the ground. For this layer, you need to fill in all 6 sides. The extra layer comes from the bottom. If you look at the finishing build, you can see that the bottom is also gold, whereas before it is not. So take your time and build up this layer. We're almost finished. The last bit is the corner of the sphere, which can be confusing because it is overlapping each other in 3 different directions. There are 8 corners that you have to build. 4 on the top of the sphere and 4 on the bottom. The bottom 4 corners is easier to do if you're inside the sphere rather than on the outside. So finish the corners and the sphere will be done. So if you have made it this far in the build, go pat yourself on the back, show it to your friends and grab yourself a cookie because this is hard to do even with instructions. So when you are finished, you get this gigantic ball of glass which honestly looks more like a crystal ball than a snow globe. All that's left to do is decorating the inside of the globe. Since this is called a snow globe, I'm going to cover the inside with white clay as snow. Built myself a tiny house and a tiny Christmas tree. You guys can decorate it however way you want, of course, or you can just make this entire snow globe your home. So I don't know about you, but I'm happy with what I got here so far. I even added a little bit of drizzling snow, making it look like someone has shook it. And that's all I got for you today, and now I'm going to start playing some Ropey to relax or build something else. So thank you guys for watching, and if you want to find me, comment down below or join Carrot Club Discord. The link is in the description. So with that, see you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.